Today, let's have some fun with a 1-4-5 chord progression.
To get more content from this video, click on the link in the description and view it on the article page. You'll also get the instructional guide for this video absolutely free. LearnColorPiano.com.
Okay, let's have some fun with the 1-4-5. First of all, we're working in the key of C major, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Again, slower. That's C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. And just as important are the numbers of C major or any other major key. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Make sure that you know the numbering system. That makes life a whole lot easier for you. Now, just as each one of these notes that are in the key, as well as any key, has a note, they have a corresponding chord. So I have a C chord, a D chord, E chord, F chord, G chord, A chord, B chord. Going back, that's a 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, and a 7 chord. Those are combinations of major and minor chords. I'm not going to get into all of them, but the three that we want to focus on are the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. The 1 chord, C, E, G. The 4 chord, F, A, C. The 5 chord, G, B, D. So the 1 chord, 4 chord, and the 5 chord is a very common chord progression, and the 1, 4, and 5 chords are very common in the way that they harmonize any melody of any song. Now, if that's all you do, you're going to get really bored with that, and anyone listening to you play is going to get really bored with that. But we're going to play around with a 1-4-5 progression because I want you to get this 1-4-5 chord progression in your ears. So again, 1, 4, 5. Now let's take things a little farther by taking the root of the chord and putting it in our left hand. Now we're going to double up on it. We're not going to take it out of the right hand, but let's play the root also in our left hand to give the the chord some bass, or the progression of a little bit of bass sound. So it's 1, 4, 5. And by the way, I'm using my first, my second, and my third fingers to play these chords. Now you can play them with the first, the third, and the fifth fingers if you'd like. A lot of beginners will do that. But with myself, I like to play them with the 1, 2, and first, second, and third fingers because I like to use or have my fifth finger available to play extended chords, whatever that may be. So here we have the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. 1, 4, 5. Get very comfortable with that. Play those 1, 4, and 5 chords. Play that progression. You can get real familiar with it. Now, let's change things up just a little bit by taking the 1 chord in our right hand, okay? And we're going to play that in second inversion. If you know anything about inversions or anything about chord inversions, you know that you can play chords in different positions. You can rearrange the notes of the chord. Here's C major root position, C major first inversion, C major second inversion, and that's exactly the way we're going to play this 1 chord, C major. We're going to play it in second inversion, but we're going to move it down an octave. We're going to play it right here. We're still going to play the bass note, and let's see. Okay, yeah, I was looking to see if you could see this. This is the last note. Let's see. You're not going to really be able to see that too well because of the way that this camera shot is set up, but this is the C 2 octaves below this C, or 1 octave below this C. Okay? I think you can see this on the virtual keyboard, so I apologize if I didn't have that set up exactly the way I should. So we're going to play our 1 chord in second inversion. If you ever want to know the inversion of any chord, especially a triad, look and see where the root is. And in the case of a triad, the root is always in the middle of a chord. The root is in the middle of a chord when it's in second inversion. It's the middle note. So we're going to play our 1 chord, okay? Now our 4 and 5, we're going to play just like we played them, but we're not going to play them up here. we're going to play them an octave below, which is down here. So we're going to play 1, 4, 5. Again, 1, 4, 5. Now, that sounds a little less basic than 1, 4, 5. But now we're going to add to this by playing the second. What is the second? Well, every major key of music has a second. Every chord has a second. So here's C major. Here is C add 2 or C2. Depends on what school of thought that you're in. But this is the second. Some people call it a ninth. I don't really call it a ninth because there's no dominant seventh present. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. We're going to add the second. And again, we're going to still play it here. Okay? We have our C major, second inversion, and we're going to add the second. That's the second tone. And then we're going to add the second to the F major chord, which is the 4 chord. This one here, we're going to add the second. And I'm going to play it like this. You could play it like this if you'd like, but I'm going to be doing something a little different with this chord as we move along. So the second is always a whole step above the root. In this case, it's G, and it's a whole step above F. And then we're going to do the same thing with G major, which is our 5 chord. And I kind of just moved into what we're going to go into next. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's play that chord progression. Again, the 1, 4, 5. Can you hear the difference there? That second adds something to that chord. So we have our 1, 4, 5. We're playing this in our bass. We're playing the 1 tone, the 4 tone, the 5 tone. Again, I apologize if you can't see it in this shot, but you can see it on the virtual keyboard. So it's 1, 4, 5. Okay? 1, 4, 5. Okay? Now let's get into something different. But make sure that you have this sound in your hands and in your ears. Make sure, most importantly, you have the bass. 1, 4, 5. Up a little higher so you can see it. 1, 4, 5. And you can go as low as you would like. 1, 4, 5. That's probably a little lower than what you necessarily want to. But what we're doing here, again, 1, 4, 5. Now we're going to move into bouncing off of that second. Now, I don't think I'm going to do it really so much as in with this 1 chord because of the way that it's between my 3rd and my 5th finger. Not that I couldn't, but okay, you see how I lifted up on that 2? Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the 4 and the 5. Gives it a little bit of a, I wouldn't say necessarily a bluesy sound, but kind of a twangy sound, maybe a little bit of a country sound. So let's do that again. And like I said, you don't really have to play the 1 chord and bounce off of the second. I was doing that. You can just play the 1 chord like that. 4, 5, okay. 1, 4, 5, okay. 1, 4, 5. All right, with a little western twang here. Okay. One more time. Okay. You can play it however you like to play it. You can kind of mix and match it just like I did. Okay, so what we're going to do now is play a little bit of a left-hand bass notes in our left hand that's more of a, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a run, but I would call it something a little different than just holding it there. 1, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of what we're doing. But if I do something like this, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Let me just do this. Doing in my left hand is just playing kind of a little bass note riff there. I'm going from the 1 chord, 2 chord, or excuse me, I'm going from the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord, okay? And then I'm just going to take this left hand, and I'm going to play off of the A minor or the A blues scale, or some people would call it an A minor blues scale. I'm still getting ahead of myself. Okay, we're going to play G, A, C, E flat, D, C. Okay, I'm adding a little bit too much rhythm. I'm getting ahead of myself. So we're going to do this. Okay, try it again. Okay, now to go a little farther, let's add a little bit of rhythm here in our right hand, like I was doing earlier, getting ahead of myself. So it's a little slower. Like I say, I'm playing off of the A blues scale. Actually, all right, actually this right here is your A or A minor blues scale, depending on how you're looking at it. Now I'm going to play the left hand with a little more in a lower register for more bass, so you can see what this sounds like, so you can do it on your own. So I'm doing the same thing, but I'm doing it an octave lower in my left hand. Okay. Now, we are doing the 1, the 4, and the 5, but we're having fun with it, playing along with it, so I'm going to add another progression to this. Now, 1, 4, 5 is what we're working on. But now I want to go into the 2, 3, and 4, okay? In the case of C major, your 2 chord is going to be your D minor chord. Your 3 chord is going to be your E minor chord, okay? And your 4 chord is going to be your F major chord. We're already doing the F major chord, but we're going to add that to this progression, which is the 2, 3, 4. Your 2 chord, D, F, A. Your 3 chord, E, G, and B. And then, of course, your 4 chord is F, A, and C. We're going to voice them a little different. Now we're going to add a note to them called the dominant 7th. It's going to make them minor 7th chords. So let me just slowly move right into it. So I'm going to move into, okay, the D minor 7. This looks very, very familiar in our right hand. It looks like an F major chord over a D. But because I'm playing this F major chord over a D, it's actually a D minor 7 chord. You see, D minor, which is this chord here, D, F, and A, has a lot in common with the F major chord, which is F, A, and C. They have F and they have A. The C, in respect to D minor, is the dominant 7th. And if you don't know what that means or what that is, it just adds more color to that minor chord. We're doing the same thing here with this E minor 7 chord. See, E minor, this chord here, has a lot in common with G major, this chord here. What notes do they share? They share G and B. And of course, this D that we're adding in here, again, is the dominant 7th. These 2 chords are the same type of chords, relatively the same. Okay? And then we're going to move into our F chord. Okay, we know that our F chord is F, A, and C. That, again, is our 4 chord, but we're adding this note to it here. Is that a dominant 7th? No, that's not a dominant 7th. That's a major 7th. It's a half step below the root. There's F, there's E below it. But if you voice it like this, it is a very smooth sound. So again, these are our 2, 3, and 4 chords. Okay? So let's just go that far. Okay. Adding a little nuance here and there, and I may or may not have played the second there. Let's try that again. Now, what we can do is we can play the 2-3, the 2-3-4, and then we can play the 3-4. We can play the 4-3 and 2. Okay? Let me just play along with what we have so far and play along very slowly so you can see what it looks like and what it sounds like. Now, as you can see in my left hand, I'm playing the root of the D minor and the E minor, and playing the root of the F major chord, but I'm also playing this note here, which is the 5th. If you know your major chords, that's not going to confuse you, because you understand a major chord is made up of a root, a 3rd, and a 5th, just like C major, root, there's your 3rd, there's your 5th. And with the D, minor, root, minor 3rd, 5th, and E is root, minor 3rd, 5th, etc. So you know, if you understand your major chords, that's not going to throw you off, and you can kind of play with those in your left hand, depending upon what you're doing and the rhythm of the song and all that sort of stuff. So let's again just kind of play what we have so far. Okay, now we're going to play a 4 chord over a 5. What does that mean? We're going to play the 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? We're going to play the 4 chord, and we're going to play the 4 chord a little different. We're actually going to go back to playing it the way that we were playing it before, and we're going to play the root, 3rd, and 5th. Okay? We're going to play this 4 chord over a 5. What's the 5 in the key of C major? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's G. So we're going to play the 4 chord over the 5 chord. You see what's happening there? What is your ear telling you? Telling you we have to go somewhere. We're going somewhere. There is an aural gravitational pull that's pulling somewhere, and it's pulling back to what? The 1. The tonic, the 1 chord. The chord that says we're finished, we're done, it's over with, right? So let's play that progression in its entirety, and we're going to put all the little elements here that we've put together. Okay, ready? Add a little nuance there to the end. Now, this can be done obviously in any key, and it can be done in different types of voicings. You don't have to do it the way that I'm doing it here, but like I say, the title of this video is Having Fun with a 1-4-5 progression. Look at this article. There's an article that I have published about this at learncolorpiano.com. Hey, there's another interesting key that I had thought that this was interesting to do, and so I'm just going to do this G flat 1-4-5 progression, and we're just going to take a look at it and see how it sounds. And I'm just going to add, maybe we're going to go a little lower in the register with the bass. Like I said, because of the camera shot, you can't see it, and the virtual keyboard only goes to, I think, about right here. So just use your ear and listen. Ready? Now, if you have an electronic keyboard instrument, like a lot of people do, and it has some sort of rhythm accompaniment, you can play along with a rhythm. You could play along with a metronome or any of that stuff. And I just chose the first rhythm when I was taking a look at this that popped up, and I think I may have adjusted. I didn't even adjust the tempo. I adjusted the rhythm volume, so I didn't even do that. So anyway, let's kind of play along, and we're just going to play out this. Okay, just take a look at this and see, listen to what this sounds like, and see how you can take the 1-4-5 and just play with it. There is an instructional guide to this video that may look something like this depending upon the video that you're watching. Click on the link in the description. It'll take you to learncolorpiano.com where you can download it for free. It won't cost you anything. My name's Greg with learncolorpiano.com. I'll see you next time.